Training in the mountains of Colorado. Well, what happened first, I started chopping wood, or what they call logs. And what do you call something that's cut in half log? Half log. So I began to warm myself up, and I was beginning to think of Alex and his girl Stacy. And I began to think, I wonder about Stacy's mom. I'm assuming she really has it going on.
She has it going on.
Have you ever lied, taking a lie detector test? Toastmaster Roxanne Lewis.
Fellow Toastmasters, I have never taken a lie detector test, so thank goodness I didn't lie. But I would like to go back to one of the previous topics that was asked having to do with superpowers. And I don't tell very many people about this, and I have different opinion in it, but about one of the superpowers that I have that very few people know about. Actually, nobody. And that is the area of leaping tall buildings. I have the capacity of being able to, it started off when I was just a little kid and climbing trees and going real high into the trees. And then one day I fell out of the tree, but I didn't actually land. I just kind of plopped and went back up and ended up in the tree again. And then later on I realized that I could actually leap over large buildings and leap over just about anything. So.
Tell us about your time and space as an astronaut, Toastmaster Carson.
We were so high. You guys tend to think of NASA as rocket scientists and brilliant, brilliant people. And yet here I stand. This shows you that even though that SLS that just went up might have been made of parts with the shuttle that are tried and true and tested, they put me on it because they wanted to see if I was going to die. And I was going to get to die on TV, and you would all watch and you would all cheer. The one thing I forgot to tell you is when you're standing up there, smile. You know, you want to keep it going, buddy. They are so desperate for astronauts these days that they'll take people like Tim. Every astronaut has wake up call. You know, they play a song. You know what Tim's song is.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say it. I just want to flog it a little more. We do truly love it. Thank you.
You're the President of the United States. How do you get everyone to agree? Toastmaster Kathleen Levitt.
Yes, as President of the United States, how to get everyone to agree? I guess I would take every single person's conversations so that you could hear the hapalogs and they would hear things about them that probably they don't want anybody to know. And so I would send them, you know, those little blackmail notes on the tables and said, you need to agree to this, or this is what's coming out. And, you know, they'll be reading it and thinking, they're like, does this vote really matter that I have to have my dirty laundry out there? Well, nah, it's not that worth it. Yeah, we agree.
The turkey was tasteless and dry for Thanksgiving, and everyone just left to go home. your wife turns to you and she says, "How did it taste?" Toastmaster, I had.
Great, honey. Hey, did you ever hear about Osceola's head? Do you know Chief Osceola, the Seminole Chief? Well, he actually was captured by the American Army under a flag of surrender. This was outrageous at the time, and everybody unanimously in the Americas thought that this was an awful thing to do. Osceola was sick at the time, and the surgeon that was taking care of him was upset with Osceola because the Seminoles had actually killed his son in an ambush. Osceola eventually died as a prisoner, and that doctor chopped off his head, shrunk it down, and would hang it on the bedpost of his kids when they were naughty. Ooh. Talk about a crazy guy, huh? Well, I recently heard a half-a-log from my dad. He was on the phone, and he's part of the Polish mob. He actually recovered it from a museum where well, I don't know. Trying to make a speech out of it.
It's like you're following crap.
It was not foul.
A lot of it is true.
Toastmaster Rebecca Eggleton, tell us about your new part in the Nutcracker this year.
Oh.
Well, Toastmasters, wow, it's amazing being on stage, you know, and I was selected, oh my gosh, for the Nutcracker. And I have to say, probably when I was a little kid, and I was on the stage, and I had this really embarrassing situation where I was doing a dance number, I had my little tutu on, and I just kept dancing. I just kept doing the number. Everybody went off the stage, and there I was, still doing my dancing. And I looked around, and nobody's there. So when I got asked to do the Nutcracker, it just, I couldn't feel comfortable because of what I experienced as a kid. And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna pass this off to Linda Miller and see how she would do the
Did you ever cheat on a homework assignment, Toastmaster Dan Wallace?
What comes at the end of Lonnie's paper? An epilogue. I don't think I'm going to work my VS star into this. Those of you that know me know two things, that I use humor to mask my true feelings, and that I love my grand dog, Lulu. Those two things clashed this weekend. I kept my Lulu for a week. Great time, but she got sick. My daughter was out of town, so I didn't really know what to do. And I was told she wouldn't eat to give her some white meat chicken. So I gave her some white meat turkey. And as it turned out, it had brine in it and all kinds of things. And so when I took her home, they called, "What did you feed the dog?" And she's gonna die. And they took her to the vet. Turns out it was a recurrence of pancreatitis, but it wasn't my fault. But they called me at work, and I had to go home. If that dog had died this past Tuesday, I don't think I could have taken it. I don't know what I would have done. So that's kind of hanging over me, and it brought me to the realization that I need to be less cavalier about some things in this life. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
How was your experience of being the keynote speaker for the Central Florida Women's Garden Club? Toastmaster Carmelo.
Tell us the truth. What club?
The Women's Garden Club.
Women's what club? Garden club. perennials, annuals.
It's true. It's true that Tom is very handsome. That's your honest opinion? How you doing, Jesse? Garden club, huh? Gotta think fast on my feet, Jordan. So Carson, when do we get the band back together?
You know where we can play? The garden. We should start a club.
I'd rather bang on my drum than dig a hole. Every year, my wife starts a new garden. She doesn't plant vegetables or anything. She plants like petunias and some of those other flowers. Annuals, biannuals, periwinkles, whatever they are. And she does a really good job of watering them. She doesn't use a sprinkler. Irksome. 21 years in my house, my wife never turned the sprinkler on. And eventually, the watering dies down, and then she asks me to water it, and then the plants die. So you don't want me addressing the garden club. But we can have a great jam session.
What is the strangest lie that you've ever told, and did anyone ever find out? Toastmaster Jessica Dawson.
Good morning, everyone.
Best lie I've ever told? That's very difficult. I don't like to lie. I like to tell the truth the majority of the time, or half truth or a half lie. It's not wise to get caught in a lie. So if you do, you gotta do it really good. You gotta cover all your bases. And if someone does find out, you gotta take care of them so no one else finds out. If all find out the truth, I'd be worried. Be very careful. You gotta be alive. So I will see y'all tomorrow night. I will be wearing black.
What would you tell your daughter if she asked you if Santa was real? Toastmaster Linda Flores.
What I tell my daughter if Santa Claus wasn't real? Well, the truth is, she knew this by herself a long time ago. So for years, I was giving her the story, oh, you have to go to sleep before midnight, and then if Santa catches you before midnight, you're not going to get any presents. And she would tell me, I think it was around the age of 4, too late, Mommy, I found the dollhouse in the closet. So I would do this every year, every year. Finally, when she was 10, she patted me on the shoulder and said, Mom, it's okay. I understand that Santa Claus is not real. I know it's you and Daddy. And I said, what? Are you kidding me? And she says, no, I knew this since I was 4. So I said, well, how did you find out? I mean, if it's just, you know, for my personal understanding. And she said, I heard you and Dad. Well, actually, I just heard you on the Pathalog speaking with Dad about the fact that we had to hide all the presents in the garage.
Tell us about your experience living in Tibet. Toastmaster Paola Sariano.
Can you repeat the question first?
Yeah, sure. Tell us about your experience living in Tibet.
My experience of living in Tibet. All I remember was Brad Pitt. There, and he's got his blonde hair, and it's blowing in the wind, and I turn around, and I I see him, and I just think, I'm ready to meditate. The best experience. So, we're out in the temple meditating, and we're sitting there just meditating for 24 hours straight. No one's talking, and what else happens? Jennifer Aniston shows up. She's mad because it's been 30 years now, or 20 years now. But she's still got some bones to pick with him. But we just remember that we're into bed and we're meditating. So she calms down, and everyone lives happily ever after.
Tell us about your new barbecue restaurant, Toastmaster Linda's Beer.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
New barbecue restaurant. So, we have to have the spice. The spice is important in barbecue, as Lonnie would know. And you have to have, and I would add a twist in my barbecue restaurant. I would add some barbecued vegetables, right? I love to play around with food, so you take veggies that have some more weight to them, and you barbecue those with your veggies. You teach people to barbecue the meat, barbecue the veggies, and eat that together, and I say, that's it, there you go.
There you go.
Tell us about the weirdest lie that you've ever had to get out of. Toastmaster Allison.
Weirdest lie I had to get out of. I guess I'm gonna go with the Santa Claus theme because Jingle, our elf, still comes. My children just turned 15. Mom, you forgot to move him again. What are you talking about? He must have just stayed. He's in his pajamas. You know, he can't fly to North Pole in his pajamas. So I'm still gonna keep on playing with that one. And I'm always gonna get out of it because it's truly magical, right? It's part of Christmas.
Yeah.
Who else hasn't had a table topic?
Okay.
I have the perfect one for you. So you have a new role right now in life. It's a school teacher. Toastmaster Dave, tell us about your experience right now.
One thing I should do is teaching my brother how to perform music. And during these teaching sessions, I was learning about how he needs headphones as well as keyboards. My brother, he'd rather play football with his friends. And currently, he's been putting out classes, trying to watch the World Cup. I've just been wondering to myself, is he rooting for England or is he rooting for Brazil? Thank you.
Toastmaster Lydia Flores, congratulations. You just won the International Speech Contest. How are you feeling?
Good morning, Toastmasters.
Big mama.
This half vlog, my name is Livia Devia. So, finding out I won an international speech contest, I knew it wasn't me. After all, I'm not Livia Flores. Having said that, being Toastmaster Livia Devia, I will, next year, try to get into that international speech contest. Now, the truth is, I already won last year's international speech contest as Lydia Devi.
Tell us what your fetish is that nobody knows about, just you.
Sorry, Mom.
Now we're gonna know.
So, I don't exactly know either, but it's December. I expect it to be, I'm not used to it not being cold, because I grew up in New Jersey, and I miss it there.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else, any Toastmasters that I've missed for a table topic?
Good job, Linda.
Thank you, Lynn.